Do you want to be in the shot?
Yeah. A bit weird, but yeah, sorry about that. So I've started recording now. So I can hear you what you're saying, and the recording can pick it up. There's a bit of sound outside, so you might have to speak up a bit more. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Before we proceed to looking at the site, I have a few questions. First of all, what's your occupation and what do you do all day?
I'm a student, dental student. Go to university, and every single day, pretty much, I go to university.
Okay, and what activities does that involve rather than just the academics?
So in terms of outside of academics, so that sometimes involves playing football. Sometimes involves going on a computer, watching movies.
Is there any events that you take part in?
So yeah, I'm part of PASS, which is we teach younger years. This is not part of the course. This is just extracurricular. We teach younger years different subjects that they find difficult, and I'm a leader of that.
Okay,
society.
That's good. Do you think you help out in any other things?
So yeah, I give quite a lot to charity.
Okay.
I'm going to do skydive for a dental charity in June.
All right.
Where I'm raising £300 for. I've raised money in the past as well for charities such as children in Syria.
Okay.
And
okay, that's really good. Cool. How often do you use the internet then? You did mention it briefly.
every single day.
Every single day?
Every day.
It's like
a few hours a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you could give a figure.
I'd say 4 hours a day.
Okay. 4 hours a day. Alright. Have you done shopping online, and how often have you done so?
I shop online, I'd say probably twice a month.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what's that usually for? Like what market?
Clothing.
Clothing. So you mentioned a few charities. How interested are you in charities, and how often do you donate rather than just fundraise?
I donate whenever the opportunity arises. So I'd say on average probably every month.
Okay, cool. Have you ever taken part with activities in charities like volunteering or anything like that?
So yeah, I've volunteered. Actually, part of my course is volunteering. We need to do 10 hours. I've done. So last year the minimum requirement was 10 hours. I did 20 hours. And that's mainly the volunteering that I did was helping out in events. Helped out at a place called the Ragged School Museum, which is basically younger school kids, primary school students. Nice. They come and you teach them about the history of the country. Cool.
Good to hear. Alright, then. So today we'll be working through some scenarios on the computer, like I said beforehand. I would like to let you know there are no breaks available to you as we are quite time constrained. We're all in the academics life, as you mentioned. I'm going to give you a task and a couple of scenarios. I'll be presenting the task, then I'll sit back and watch you do the task. Go as if you're doing it alone, and you're at home. Interact with it as if you're at home as well. Just do everything how you do it in a normal way. I'm not here. Okay? If there may be occasions where you're struggling, so I'll tell you what you need to do, or it looks like you're struggling, then I'll help you. If I don't really realize anything's going wrong, tell me and I can see what I can do. But I'll try my best not to help. Okay? One more thing, I need you to think aloud for 2 of the 3 tasks that we do today. Okay? So, what this means is verbalizing your thoughts as you move through the web page. For example, when you go on the TFO website and you see the journey planner, you will say, I will type on this form. So when you type in, okay, today you came to Farringdon, I'll type in, I'm going. So you'll be like, okay, now I'm typing Farringdon, and then you see the options come up, Farringdon, the emblem, if you're going to use Jubilee line, blah, 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 blah. So the idea is to vocally tell me what your confusion, frustration, and delight is. Okay, I have a video for you to see, so you'll clarify what I mean. And it might be unnatural, but it helps me out loads. It saves me from writing notes, and you can actually tell me what you're thinking. hence the protocol thinking aloud. Okay.
Okay.
So this is the video, yeah.
How would you go about finding a shirt that you like? I would probably look up here. Okay, I see that there are lots and lots of options. So these don't seem necessarily to be separated like by women, although I can see some women's here. But as far as these, I'm not necessarily sure initially if those are, unisex or if what that is. I also glance at this, see that there's some different featured ones. I don't necessarily want anything like patriotic and stuff. So I think I would probably look here first. It's also really, really neat to me that they have by region. I would kind of like to see some from a variety of regions. So I would probably go here first. I would be interested in seeing the deep V-neck. So I think I'd click on that one first, seeing if it's too deep of a V for me. I don't particularly like really low-cut ones, but I do like the style of V-neck, so I think I'll click there first.
Okay, so cool.
Yeah, makes sense.
Alright, so do you have any questions? Okay, we'll actually start now. So this is your task sheet, and yeah, just wait for me for 2-3 seconds. Okay, the first thing you will do is a task, as I said. You will get a minute to explore the homepage for the website. After the minute is up, I'll ask a few questions about the homepage. Then we will proceed to the next stage of the session promptly. Please do not click anything. This task doesn't require you to do so. Okay? There is no need to think aloud for this task, okay? So just let me set up my stopwatch and then I'll give you a minute to look at the website. Use the mouse to move around, okay? Don't use the trackpad.
Okay.
Just give me a minute, give me a
So
second.
this is the homepage?
Yeah. Okay, so your minute will start like, let's say 3 seconds, and then yeah.
I can scroll up, down.
You can scroll up, down, but just don't click anything, there's no need.
Okay.
Alright, so your minute starts now. Yeah, 5 seconds. Cool. Just give me 2 seconds. If you look away from the screen, if you can, for like 10 seconds. Okay. So, I have a few questions like I said. So, have you seen this website before?
Nope.
Cool. And what company is the website for? Do you reckon?
For stroke charity.
Yeah, Stroke Charity. Okay. And what do you think about the company and what do they do?
So the company itself, it looks mainly at people who have stroke. They raise money, they hold events. So I think there was a free will event that they hold, where people over the age of 55, if I read it correctly, they get to have one free will.
Yes.
They can also donate. At the top I saw a basket.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you can buy stuff as well, or if that's for the donations.
Okay.
And there's a helpline as well.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of information.
Okay.
So I think they provide that sort of information to get help as soon as you can.
Did you think anything else about the company?
It looks, I mean, in terms of how the website is designed,
Based on what you've seen on the website. Okay, you just clear that one.
yeah. Based on what I've seen on the website, I feel like the company itself is it seems quite big. It doesn't seem like it's a small one because the website was well designed. They had a good logo. The theme, the font and the theme throughout it. The website was very well designed, which makes me think that they do get a lot of support and a lot of donations.
Okay, that's fine, cool. So you probably mentioned this before, but what information can you find on the homepage? If you can remember.
So there's a helpline. There's an Act Fast program, if I'm correct. There was information about the Free Will Day. There was a donation page, a donation button. You can find out more about the condition itself and who it affects. It also explained what the charity was about.
Okay, cool. And then briefly, what sort of tasks do you think you can achieve on the website?
Some tasks.
Yeah.
So you can donate money. And you can find out about the disease itself. You can get involved with volunteering. It gave an option, so I gave an option to volunteer near the bottom. Okay. So I gave an option to volunteer. It gave an option to fundraise, and an option to donate.
Okay. And sorry, I think you didn't finish. Anything else?
Oh, and so those are things you can get involved in.
Okay, cool. Is there anything that didn't really make sense?
The Act Fast thing. I mean, at first glance, I didn't really get what the whole like.
So do you think you needed more time or?
Well, there was a button that said "Find out more." So if I clicked that, I probably would have got it more. But
okay, cool.
From the first site, I didn't really get it.
So before we move on to the next question, I just want to know how the homepage made you feel in terms of user experience. This means what emotions got evoked when you interacted with the website. I'm going to open a web page and I need you to select an answer or write your own. Select an answer that matches your emotions you provoked and the interaction you had. So that means what you just did, okay? Using the web page. Before you type in your answers, say aloud what you're planning to write and then write the answer down or select the answer. Try giving me a justification for the word, okay?
So now I'm going to look at another web page.
No, so then you based on that,
so
that one thing that you had,
everything does.
Not everything, just a word or your own word. So you can type it or you can select it using the mouse.
Okay.
And then try to think out loud, right? Like give me a justification to why you did the answer. So right now you're thinking, right? You need to like say it out loud.
Oh, okay. So I'm looking at the words and I'm looking at what they actually mean. So stuff like patronizing, definitely not. Appealing, I think it's appealing because, like I said, the logo itself is quite colourful. The web page, it was purple, which isn't like your usual black, white, red. It's quite colourful. It's a different colour. There was also yellows, so that contrasts it, that makes it stands out. So I'd say appealing, definitely. All the ones like poor quality, frustrating, comprehensive. I'm looking at those. I don't really think gets in the way, incomprehensible. I don't think it's any of those. Intimidating, definitely not. Trust, yeah, I'd say trust because, like I said, it looks like a really dedicated organization and charity. So I feel like if I donate to it, it'll be in the right hands. Enthusiasm as well because, like I say, the buttons are quite large. It's quite bubbly, quite easy to access, and yeah, it's not dull. It's not as dull as you'd expect it to be from a stroke charity.
Okay, so if you were to pick one, what would it be?
One, I'd say appealing.
Okay, yeah, one.
Because, like I said, the colours they stand out. There was a colour blocking as well. So at the top it was all purple, and then some parts were purple, some parts were yellow. You can see the contrast quite easily. Also, when you hover over a button, you can change colour, so that makes it more easy to understand. And yeah.
So select that and then submit on the form, please. Okay, so that's done. If you could close the tab for me, please. Okay, so now we have the first scenario. I've called this scenario the summer challenge, okay? You can see it in front of you if you want. So imagine you're a fitness and sport enthusiast who was only recently a novice. You feel like an Olympic athlete and want to move away from treadmills from the gym and show your peers you can do it in the streets of Manchester, but you're only free in May as you're busy with work. You decide you want to showcase your skill by being part of the Stroke Association teams and support stroke survivors in a big event.
Okay.
Find a suitable event where you run 13.1 miles. For this task, you need to think aloud. It's basically about reflection, like we just did before. Think about it as doing mental maths but out loud, okay? So you're done when you're happy with the information provided. Okay, so you can start.
So I need to just find an event where I can run 13.1 miles.
Yeah,
that's it.
Okay.
On this website, okay.
Yeah.
Right. So first off, I'm looking at the homepage. It's talking about act fast. Every second counts when you're having a stroke. I don't really think that's anything to do with any marathons or.
So remember your goal here. Yeah.
So my goal here is obviously to run the marathon. I can see a lot of buttons at the top which stand out to me straight away. It says, what is a stroke? Finding support. Now, when I look at get involved, that's what I'd click. So I'm going to click that. Well, first I'm going to hover over it. Then I'm getting more options. So I'm saying fundraising, volunteering, campaigning, partner with us. So I'm quite torn between fundraising and volunteering or campaigning. I'm not too sure which one I should click. So I know it's none of these other ones. So like know your blood pressure, our shop. I don't think it's any of those. So I'll start off by clicking fundraising just to find out whether it's there. So I'm doing that. Now,
let me just pause for a second. What do you see as fund, like all the words? What do they mean to you? Fundraising, volunteering, campaigning.
So fundraising means holding an event where people will be donating or maybe selling stuff. There's ways to make money. Volunteering, I feel like it may be more related to helping people who have stroke or helping people at events rather than actually participating.
Okay.
So thinking of it like that probably wouldn't be volunteering. And campaigning, so campaigning again, thinking about it, I'd actually associate that with more behind the scenes stuff. So creating posters, going to events, go around talking about the topic. So fundraising is definitely the one I'll click initially. So I've done that. Now it's giving me options to organize my event, sign up to an event, or fundraise this year. Now initially what I would do is I would look at this and say sign up to an event, because I want to see whether an event that runs 13.1 miles is actually available before I make my own. So I'll click sign up to an event. There's nothing else on that page that really stood out. Now there's a few options that I'm getting. So there's abseil, cycle, other activities, giving me a few options there at the top straight away. Now my scenario was I wanted to run 13.1 miles, so I can see the tab run, which is that one I'm going to click. It says there's 35 options. Now I'm looking at all the different ones, and I'm looking at the description and seeing whether I can see one that has 13.1 miles. Now the first one, it doesn't say how long it is. So what I'm going to do is and also it has to happen in May. So this happens in March, so I can't do that. It's in April, I can't do that. Let me just see whether I can. Okay, so there's no option to choose what dates I want to have, so I have to go through them one by one. So that's 8th of April, I can't do that. That's all April. Now May. Okay, so this is on the 7th of May. Again, it doesn't say what length it is, so I'm going to click on more info to find that out.
If you could remember your task.
Okay, Stroke Association teams. So that's 26.1.
What did you want to go to Belfast?
Manchester. Oh, okay, so it's only Manchester. My bad. Okay. So what that means is I have to search for my town. So I didn't do that before, but now that remember that it's in Manchester. have to click that, search for it, and now it's giving me more options. So there's a few options here. So I can see the first one is on the 20th of May, 10K run, and then the second one that shows up is 20th of May, which is in my suitable time frame, and it's 13.1 mile tour. So I found that, and now I'm going to click on more info just to find out more about this event. So 15, yeah. So
are you sure how to join the stroke team?
So join the stroke team, you receive a fundraising pack, running vest, regular training. So now I need to join the team. So I need to see whether I can actually the route pass. So I'm reading the description where it's telling me about join the team stroke. So charity plays, there's a 15 registration fee. Purchase your own plays, fundraising, why not set up? Okay. Get in touch. Okay, so it's giving me a number, and it's also given me the option to book a place. So there's a variation. So there's a charity place and my own place. Now, if I want to join a charity team, I'd have to choose charity place, and then quantity 1, because I'll be doing it alone.
Okay, so read your task sheet and then.
So my task is measure your fitness. Okay. And so I'm trying to join team stroke, the stroke team, right?
So are you happy with the information that you have?
Yeah, so it's giving me charity place, which is I want to be on the charity team.
Cool.
And one quantity, I'll add it to basket. And it's giving me an email and a phone number that I can call. So I'd say that's enough information for me to.
Okay, cool.
To join.
So now I have a few questions. If I can find it. Sorry. Did you find it easy to find fundraising events page?
So finding the page was easy, yeah. It was because it said get involved, which is the first thing that really stood out where I wanted to click. So that was quite easy to find that part.
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, it's fine. Did you find it easy to find your specific event that you eventually found?
Took me a while. Took me a while.
If you could tell me frustrations or anything like that.
I think it's mainly the fact that I didn't like the scenario itself. I didn't read Manchester, so I had to go back and forth. But once I knew it was Manchester, it was quite easy to find actually, because all you have to do is just find the city, and I had to click a run, and it filtered it pretty well.
I couldn't notice, but you know the refinement thing where you write down the town. Like, was it noticeable or was it?
Yeah, it's the first thing I noticed actually, but it was noticeable. But again, I didn't read what city I was meant to be in. That's the only thing. But it was, yeah, I knew where it was.
Okay. How did you feel about the information provided for the events? So the screen that we have right here.
It gives how the information provided. So
based on the task that you just did.
So yeah, it gives. I mean, the information provided. I mean, it tells you what locations it goes to. It doesn't tell you where it starts and finishes though. So it doesn't give you the exact route, which maybe or like give a map of the route, because I couldn't really see. I mean, it gives you some of the landmarks, but you may want to know the exact route that they follow. That wasn't there. Other than that, I mean, it gives you a lot of details about joining the stroke team. Excuse me, but and also gives enough detail about what money you need to raise and stuff.
So then, does it match your expectations? So let's say you know how you're going to that event for the skydiving thing. What did they provide to you, and then what's different there?
It's pretty similar. I think with them, it's because I was emailing them back and forth rather than going on their website. They provided more specific information, I'd say. According to the day, where exactly we're going to be jumping from, who we're going to be jumping with, all of that. And
okay. If you were to rate this situation of finding a task out of 1 to 5, 1 being just forgot how it works. 1 being the lowest and 5 being the highest, how would you rate it?
So 1 being
bad, yeah, 5 being the best. Yeah. So 5 out of 5. 4, yeah. 4. Yeah. Alright then. So the next scenario. This scenario is called spreading awareness for stroke survivors. Suppose you have finished the event in the previous scenario. You were inspired by the stroke awareness that the Stroke Association generated. Now you want your workplace to know more about strokes. Find the Stroke Association's store and get 20 persuasive materials about strokes to stick on the staff room and hallway notice boards. Purchase some wristbands as well. You really want the office to show awareness for stroke by giving some of these to your team members. You have £10 to spend. Figure out how many wristbands you can get with the 20 persuasive materials. You need to know this, as the company will cover charges for this mini campaign by you. You do not have to carry out the actual purchase, i.e. pay. You need to think aloud for the task like you did beforehand. So yeah, when you're ready, you can.
Okay, I'm just going to read that one more time. Persuasive materials about strokes on the salt. And I need to buy all this with a £10 budget.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I start?
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to buy wristbands and I need to buy 20 persuasive materials. So, and this is knowing that I've already done the previous task, right?
Yeah.
So I've already
that's just like
browsed the website. So
yeah.
Okay, so from what I saw earlier, I hovered on get involved, and then I saw the store at the bottom.
Okay.
So I click on our shop because I saw that before and I remember where I was. Now I'm looking at it. It's giving me an option to search, but before I do that, I want to look at all the categories that they provide. So first it says campaign materials. Now, I'm going to read the description. It says selection of publication arrangement, campaign posters and postcards. So that is something that fits the description. That's something I want to buy. So, but before I click it, I'll look at everything else, just so that I don't click the wrong thing. So that may make May purple, no. Communication help, no. Guidelines and booklets, leaflets. Okay, so I have an idea of what they offer. Now the first thing I'm going to click is campaign materials. So I'm going to click that. Okay. Now I need to buy 20 of those. So personally, I can see there's a fast A4 poster, there's an A5 leaflet, there's wallet cards, there's a card that says 1 in 6 was well stroke, and there's a pin badge. So what I would buy is, so do you want to add to cart? Okay, so
as you would do if you were buying it at home.
Okay, so before I click that, I'm going to go back and I'm going to see what else they offer. So I saw guidelines and booklet, information leaflets, which stood out to me as well. So I'm going to click on that. And now looking at it, so now looking at it, I don't really see. I think the high blood pressure and stroke, you know, the guidelines and the whole, you know, explaining what stroke is. I don't think they'll be suitable.
Yeah. So remember, it's persuasive material.
Yeah, I don't think that's suitable personal information. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go on campaign materials, and then I'm gonna 20 items. Okay. So I'm gonna buy these A4 posters. I'm gonna add 4 of those, which I can put around the office. I'm gonna add it to basket now. So I've got that in my basket now. Now I'm gonna go back to the previous posters that I saw. So I'm gonna go back again. Now I'm gonna get some of those A5 leaflets as well, the fast ones, because what it says is suspected stroke, act fast. And that's handy in the workplace, raises awareness. So I'm gonna get 4 of those. That means I have 8 items in my basket. Now I'm gonna go back on campaign materials. I didn't see this earlier, but at the top there's a tab for every type of material. So I'm clicking that so I don't have to click backwards twice. Wallet cards. I'm not really going to get wallet cards because I'm trying to stick them on the staff room and notice boards. So, but that's not really something that they're going to look at. So instead I'm going to have a look at this, and I'm going to order 4 of those, which leaves me with 12 items in my basket. I'm going to go back to campaign materials. And I think, so the pin badges, I'm not getting the pin badges. So what I'm going to go back is, I'm going to go to information, I'm going to go to posters and postcards. Because I haven't clicked on that one yet. So because I'm going to put this in the office, I'm going to get my stroke guide A4 poster. I'm going to put this on I'm going to get one of those. It's better to have a variety of items. So it's one of those. I'm going to go back to posters and postcards, choose another one. Then I'm going to go get these, I'm going to get a helpline poster, which I can also put on the board. So the product is not available. Fortunately, I can't get that. So I'm going to have to go back. Posters and postcards. Right now I have 13 items in my basket, so I have 7 left. Postcards. So these are postcards. I don't really want postcards.
And remember what else you need to get as well.
Yeah, so wristbands. Okay. So now I'm going to go information leaflet. So these are all leaflets. Okay. So I don't really see anything there. I'm going to go to the next page. These are leaflets. I don't think I can post that, to be honest. So I'm going to
you don't necessarily have to get a variety.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to get some more of these A4 posters. These are fast. So I have 7, so I'm going to get 5 of those, 5 more. And then I'm going to go back to campaign materials. And I'm going to add 2 of those Scotland posters. Okay, so now I've got my campaign materials. Now I'm going to get the wristbands. So I have £10 to spend. So right now, I'm going to look at my subtotal first. And right now, my total is £0. I'm going to go back. And I'm going to click on gift ideas.
Okay.
And I'm clicking on that because all the other ones, they seem to just be guidelines and nothing really that physical that I can buy.
So is all of this matching your, your personal experiences at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, first thing that pops out, the Conquer Stroke wristband. Now I have £10 to spend, right? I'm going to have to. I have £10, so I'm going to get 10 of them.
All right.
Okay. And now, when I'm going to look at my basket again, see what I've got.
Internet Wi-Fi.
Being a bit slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, internet is a bit slow. Okay, so now I can see everything that's in my basket. Just reviewing everything, it looks good. And then, that's it.
Okay, so then you don't have to pay for it, but what would you do next?
So check out now. Again, I'm gonna have a look. Okay, so they charged me £5.50 for postage. I only have a £10 budget. Now what this means is I'm gonna have to take some wristbands off, unfortunately. So because it's £5.54, I can only get 4 wristbands. So I'm gonna have to go back. And now I'm gonna have to edit that, change that to 4. Because I'm trying to get as many items as possible. Now the total is £9.50.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing.
Cool, yeah. You just scroll up. This is recording. So, how did you feel about the findability on the Stroke Association store? So when I say findability, I mean about finding materials and everything like that.
It was pretty straightforward, if I have to be honest. Everything was there. There was a large variety as well. That's the only thing that made it a bit more difficult to see what exactly you want to buy. But
was it
all in all, it was.
So was there times where there was like where the labeling didn't really help you out?
No, the labeling helped me out with everything pretty much, and the fact that it provided pictures as well, that made the whole experience easier because you know exactly what you're buying. And they also told you what size it is, so A4, A2, A5. Okay, so it made sense.
Yeah. So then about the backwards issue thing, what do you do on other websites?
What do you mean?
When you want to go back and forth between material?
What do you mean?
So you know when you notice the, if I can show you here. So you see these things here.
Yeah.
You said that you didn't notice these until like about a minute or two after.
Yeah.
So then, is there a reason for that? What do you usually do when you go back on the website, other than using the back button provided by the browser?
I look at what tab it was under, and I try to find the quickest way to go back to where I want to be with the fewest clicks.
When you say tab, what do you mean?
So, for example, here, because I added it to basket, and then it went back onto this page. Now, if I go backwards, instead of going back to the page I want it to be, it just goes back to here when I haven't added to my basket just yet. So what I've seen other websites do is when you add it to basket, it doesn't refresh, it just adds it straight away. And then when you press back, you just go back to the previous page rather than same page refreshed.
Alright, so you said about labels, but did you, just to clarify, so you understood the labels that were given to you?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you understand how to add items to the basket and then edit the quantity?
Yeah, that makes. So I added it to the basket. I saw at the top. I saw where my basket was, and it also tells me how many items I had in there.
Yeah.
So I clicked it, and after I clicked it, I could see exactly what item it was and what the quantity was, and I didn't need to press another button to edit it. I could edit it straight away from there.
Yes.
and it all made sense.
Alright then, so then there's like this tiny thing here, this little message. Did you ever notice that come across for you to consider?
I did not notice that at all until now.
Okay, cool.
So I didn't notice that.
Okay, that's fine. It's just saying that you can't hold more than 10 on the page.
Yeah,
I don't know why,
yeah.
but it's just if you rate this task about finding some stuff for your workplace, so obviously I know you're a dentist basically, you might put it in your, I don't know, what do they call it, clinic when you
Practice.
Yeah, there you go. In your practice, when you want, how would you rate that 1 out of 5? 5 being the best, 5 out of 5 in the test.
4.
4?
Yeah, it was a good experience.
You sure? Okay. Before we finish, I have one more task for you. It involves filling out this questionnaire. If I can find it. Yeah. If you can speak aloud when you decide your answer, so you can help me understand why you put the score. It makes the score have some context to it as well. So please try be quick, because we're trying to not be too subjective here. We're trying to base it on the experience you just had. Okay, so don't take too long to answer the question. I was trying to think aloud. I know it's a bit weird, but
No, it's fine. It's fine.
okay. So yeah, if you could read aloud what the question says as well, you don't just say it. Like remember,
Okay.
just maintain what you've been doing. Yeah.
Answer it now.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that I would like to use this website frequently. What do you mean in terms of design or content?
So frequently, it's just literally frequently.
This exact website.
Yeah.
I think that I would like to use this website frequently. Personally, I'd say I'm leaning more towards a 2, more towards strongly disagree, because this particular charity doesn't, so I'm do I put a tick?
Yeah.
So this particular charity doesn't really appeal to me as much. The website did, but the charity itself, not as much. I found the website unnecessarily complex. I strongly disagree with that because, like I mentioned earlier, it's large buttons, good color blocking, and it made it quite easy to. So I'm going to strongly disagree with that. I'm give that a 1. I thought the website was easy to use. I'm going to give that a 4. I agree with that pretty strongly. I mean, everything was there. Everything was laid out properly. The correct headings were there. So I'm going to give that a 4. I think that I would need the support of a technical person to be able to use this website. I strongly disagree with that. I'm not the greatest technical guy, but I could easily navigate through it, so I give that a strong disagree. I found the various functions in the website were well integrated. Yeah, I'd strongly agree with that. I'll give that a 5 because everything that clicked corresponded to what I was looking for. So I'm gonna give that a 5. I thought it was too much inconsistency in the website. I disagree with that simply because the font was the same. The buttons were well placed. The colors were very regular throughout. So I'm gonna give that a 2. I disagree with that. I would imagine that most people would learn to use this website very quickly. I strongly agree with that because everything's laid out pretty straightforward. I found the website very awkward to use, cumbersome. I found it's rapid. It wasn't too much.
Based on the experience you just had.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that. I disagree. Number 2. I felt very confident using the website. Strongly agree again. Knew very quickly learned where everything was on the page and how to navigate through it. I need to learn a lot of things before I can get going on this website. Strongly disagree. I don't think anyone needs to know anything. As long as you speak English, to be honest, you can navigate through this very easily. So disagree strongly.
Okay. Okay, thank you. We are done. Do you have any questions for me? Is there anything that you want to pick up about the website that you didn't like and we didn't talk about at all, but you think should be brought up? Yeah, you sure? Okay. Okay. Thanks again for helping. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Yeah. That's it. Cool.